Hello, Steve Arts 89. Well, I finally watched The White Lotus Season 1. I know I'm behind. They've already done a Season 2. I watched it on DVD. I watched it between like 2 a.m. and 8 a.m. in the morning. There's only 6 episodes. And I was with it for like the first 4 episodes. I didn't like where the story went, and I wasn't sure what the show was trying to say. I found it a bit disappointing and a bit confusing. I didn't like the way they treated some of the characters. And like again, I'm not sure what they're really trying to say with the show. Now, it's gotten a lot of great reviews and Emmys and everything for the first season. They've done a second season that went really well as well. Jennifer Coolidge got an Emmy. So I heard a lot about it. I had a lot of expectations. Basically, the story is about a bunch of white, privileged people, rich white people, guests at this hotel, the White Lotus in Hawaii. And basically, they ruin the lives of some of the minority people who work at the resort. The first character, Jennifer Coolidge's character, she's basically there to spread her mother's ashes. Her mother was abusive. She's a mess. She kind of manipulates one of the masseurs, a black lady, into sort of a relationship with her by dangling the idea of financing her own business in front of her. So she sort of puts up with all her rubbish for the hope of getting this business opportunity. There's a married couple. The wife is a journalist. She's having trouble adapting to the role as wife. She doesn't want to be trophy wife. She doesn't want to be arm candy. She doesn't want to be just an appendage. She wants to split up with the husband at some point in the trip, but she ends up staying with him and getting back with him and just sort of accepting being this appendage and kind of being defeated. And it's kind of sad. They kind of have a happy ending in a way because they stay together and they leave. And at the start of the show, you see that husband was there without her, and he was looking at a coffin being put onto the plane to go back to back home. So I thought she died. I was wondering how is she going to die all through the season. But they sort of get a happy ending because they end up together again. And there's a family of white people who they're rich. The mother is pretty controlling and no one really likes her. The husband describes himself as cucked. The son is lost. The daughter is total mean girl, and she's there with another girl who's sort of like her partner in crime, and she's a minority who's really just there so the girl can sort of score work points, and she's aware of this, and she's aware this girl isn't really her friend, and she just sort of manipulates her back, and they're sort of playing games, and you don't have a lot of respect for her because she knows she's there as a token, but she stays there for like the trip or something. And then she ends up having a relationship with this boy, a dancer who works at the resort, and she, to get revenge on them and also to help him, talks him into stealing jewelry from the rich family to fund a legal attempt by his family to try and get rights to his land back. He doesn't want to do it, but he does. And this character is treated the worst because basically he does get the jewelry. There's a confrontation with the husband and the wife because they come back to the room early. And he just runs off, and then you never see him again. We hear that they caught him and found the jewelry and all that. But his story isn't finished. He's really just there as a token. He's objectified the whole time. We don't really get a good ending to his story. I didn't like the way that was treated. The masseuse, we sort of have some sympathy for her. She's a nice person, but she does put up with this woman for the money, so she does get sort of buys into that, and that's sort of, you lose a bit of respect for her, but you kind of understand what's happening, and you do feel bad when you see her dreams crushed at the end after all the effort she put into it. And the family, they get robbed, they get to be the victims, and they sort of sort themselves out. They sort of get to have a happy ending. You sort of see these white people come in and ruin these people's lives and then go off and have a happy ending. And I assumed it was intentional. It was supposed to be a criticism of, rich people, white privilege and everything, but I feel like it was too vague. I feel like it's too easy to watch this show as a white person and be on their side and see it as their story. I didn't feel like the minority people really got their stories wrapped up properly. The other one I forgot to mention was the manager of the restaurant. He's gay. The resort. He's gay, and he sort of gets stressed into taking drugs again because he's had a problem in the past, and he becomes a bit erratic when he's dealing with one of the husband who is totally having a tantrum because he didn't get the room he wanted, and he ends up getting the manager fired by Karening, and going over his head. So he decides to get revenge on the husband who got him fired, and he goes into his hotel room and does something to get revenge, and then the guy comes in and he catches him and he accidentally stabs him and he dies. So the gay character sort of looks bad, doesn't behave well, and is killed. The black character, the masseuse, is sort of, she sells out and then gets her dreams dashed, and then the minority girl basically is there as a willing token and just gets revenge and then accepts back into this abusive relationship with this girl, and the boy that she was dating is turned into a criminal, and we don't see how his story ends. He's just disposed of. I just sort of thought it was kind of ugly. I didn't really like the way it went. I didn't feel like they made it clear exactly what position they were taking on this. It was a bit too vague, and I'm not sure if the writer-director wrote this as a criticism and ironically, or whether he just wrote this from a position of white privilege and has no idea what he was doing. I'm really not sure. I know the show's been well received, it's gotten a lot of praise, but I haven't seen any interviews or anything stating exactly what the intention of the show was, and maybe some people are misreading it. I don't know. I meant to do a shorter review. I tried a couple of times, but tried to keep it to 5 minutes, but I couldn't. So yeah, I wasn't really happy with how they treated the minority characters, and also just the way the story went. And I don't like that they mostly got the happy endings. Now the boy did actually run off to stay on the island and train with one of the with like a rowing team of islanders that he was sort of met and befriended because he really felt lost where he was. And there's a whole defense of him as a young white male, how they're the victims now and everything, and he sort of had to run away to this. So it seems to take their side, and it's far too sympathetic to the rich white, people. So I'm not entirely sure what this show's intention was or if it's succeeded. But I'm a bit disappointed. I'm not really looking forward to the second season. I'm going to watch it to see what they do. The second season is totally different. I thought it would be just a new bunch of people coming to the same hotel, but it's a different hotel and so forth, and I just watched the trailer for that and I did a little review for that. But I'm going to go. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think. Sorry, it's a long video. I tried to do it in under 5 minutes. I just couldn't do it.